Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Hey, they said I got to come off the bench.
Now, here's Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Welcome back, OTB, baby. That's right, baby. Hour number 2, rolling right along here. 94.7 Outlet and 3 to 5. Could you understand me? Could you understand?
No, and I don't like that.
Oh, what's wrong with it? You understand what I'm saying?
I understood that part. You said, "Who understands what I'm saying?"
No, I say, do you understand? I mean,
do the other one. Say it again.
Say what it is. Again. See? Sorry, this whole bit
I didn't mean say again. I meant say what you were saying
This
again.
bit is just losing steam.
I don't think it is.
Incredibly
Rapidly.
fast. Just a sinking ship.
If you say the sentence again in that same voice.
We are taking on water, and the pumps are not keeping up. Hour number 2 of OTB here. And look at this, guys. LouisianaSports.net citing Ian Rappaport report.
Ooh.
A rap report. Rappaport. A Rappaport report saying that a deal could be finalized with Kellen Moore as soon as Tuesday and announced as quickly as Wednesday. I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a head coach today. Do you know what that is a reference to?
No.
Have you ever seen Popeye? Like the old cartoon?
Yeah.
The dude who ate spinach, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, Wimpy, he's always saying, I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a burger today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Who knows if he will? But he's trying to get them burgers, man.
Like free beer tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, look, man. Hey, look, you buy this, man. I'll pay you back tomorrow. I promise. Just give me this burger. I'll pay you tomorrow. Just give me this coach. So, in all likelihood, the Kellen Moore story continues. I mean, again, we probably know it's happening, and we'll likely have the official announcement late tonight or early tomorrow. Probably it'll leak out that the deal is done today. And then you'll have your maybe like press conference and everything else tomorrow, plane flights and all of that sort of stuff. So what then does the Kellen Moore era of the Saints start to look like from a coaching staff perspective? There appears to be a lot of belief that Eagles quarterback coach Doug Nussmeier will end up as the OC, which, man, is just cool.
That'd be lit.
Like it's just cool from a human narrative perspective where you could have Garrett Nussmeier, top of the Heisman charts, borderline All-American, quarterbacking the LSU football Tigers. And even though he's a coach's son who has lived all over, that is the college in the state that he has most called home his entire life. You could have him quarterbacking the LSU Tigers with great expectation on his shoulders while his father is offensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints. That's pretty cool. It's objectively cool. Now, maybe it goes full storybook and they end up drafting us and he's awesome and he leads the Saints to the Super Bowl and life is stranger than fiction and there's movies made about it. Who knows? But Doug Nussmeier looking like he's a big-time candidate for the OC position. What do y'all think about this? And this is maybe the first point in the show where I would really, really love to have Jake here because he would have much better insight than us on this. But it seems like Brandon Staley is a name for defensive coordinator that keeps getting bandied about. I personally really like that. I think Staley is a very good coordinator and that's why he got the head job to begin with. I'm not a Chargers fan. I was kind of a sucker for Staley as a head coach, so I felt like he was always like, I felt like he wasn't like god awful. He wasn't a disaster. I feel like maybe he took risks at times that didn't work out for him, but I don't know. I'll say this about Staley. He has a little bit of David Griffin in him in that he talks real smart, and that's a great way to get me to believe that like you're going to be the man. But I think that'd be a very good defensive coordinator pickup, Staley, and that's a big name. So now Ross Jackson on LouisianaSports.net does say that another name to watch would be Tampa linebackers coach George Edwards. George is not as much
They've
of a
had
name.
good linebackers, right? I mean, he developed KJ
true.
Britt, which is why
True.
Devin White had to leave because they did such a good job developing KJ Britt. He kind of took that job. Levante David's have been great. I mean, they got good backs.
He was the coordinator with the Vikings, but he didn't call plays. Must have been under the Flores administration.
I wonder if Dallas
not
considered him
Flores
for the head
administration.
job.
Zimmer. Must have been under the Zimmer administration. Wait, what?
So Dallas probably considered him for the head job, the coordinator with no play calling.
Yeah, in all likelihood, probably.
He was the second guy.
So, yeah, if you get Brandon Staley, Doug Nussmeier, but really, I mean, it's Kellen Moore and Brandon Staley. I think it's a pretty powerful little combo there, potentially. Now, again, what pieces will they have to work with? Only time will tell, but it looks like Kellen Moore going to be the head coach of your New Orleans Saints.
Well, I mean, Brandon Staley, like his defenses were always solid in L.A. The problem was they couldn't score any points.
Yeah.
Why? Because, Kellen Moore was under a offensive play calling coach in Dallas, right? That was his first time. He comes in, the entire offense is thrown to him. He's under a head coach that probably got the job before he was ready, that was defensive minded anyway. So you have a really young offensive coordinator that didn't have much experience. You have a head coach that has no experience. That's why it didn't work in LA. I mean, his defenses were still really solid, though.
Yeah, that is true. That's kind of funny to think about, too. What a literal inversion, if it does come to pass, where the students become the teacher and vice versa, as they would have switched coordinators and head coach roles. Guys, remember to go to K to Z window coverings, KTOZblinds.com, KTOZblinds.com. K to Z are your experts. If you want blinds, drapery, shutters, shades, anything like that. Brandon Barton built this company off of Sweatquity, pounding the pavement, guys, and he's in there at 30 years now. And what that means is you reap the benefits of 30 years of experience. You have Brandon out to your home within 15 minutes. He'll tell you exactly how the sunlight interacts with your home every day. He'll give you a list of options, both functional and aesthetic. Here are the advantages. Here are the different price points. Here's what we can do for you to make your home the place you always want it to be. So you want to talk about bringing your home to the next level. I don't care if it's a starter home, home of your dreams. K to Z is there, KTOZblinds.com. Speaking of the New Orleans Saints, guys, the Super Bowl odds are out for 2026. And how about it? Black and gold to the Super Bowl? Well, seems like the oracles out west don't have a lot of belief. As right now, in a world where the Cleveland Browns exist and Myles Garrett's trying to get traded and Deshaun Watson has a torn Achilles and probably misses all of next year, it is the New Orleans Saints who have the single worst odds to win the Super Bowl next year at an incredible plus 15,000. Plus 15,000. What were the Leicester City odds when they won the Premier League?
It was somewhere in there. I think it was 20.
Let's see. Because, wow. Okay. Leicester City was 5,000 to 1.
Okay.
So the Saints odds are triple that of when Leicester City won the Premier League. So the point of that is, guys, if they could do it, crazier things have happened, okay? Or actually, I guess not. I guess this would be crazier than that. Oh, wait, no. Yep. So I guess that point kind of rings hollow because if they could do it, well, they actually have better odds. But the point is, guys, that was pretty crazy. And this could be pretty crazy as well for you. So what you... Let me think about
I'll
this.
put $5 on it.
Let me think about this. Yeah. So how much would $10 pay? Why is my brain not working? If it's plus 100, you're just gonna double, right? How much would plus 15,000 pay? I don't know. My brain's not working. I can't even do it right now. But the New Orleans Saints, even the Carolina Panthers, are plus 12,500. Falcons plus 6,000. Bucks plus 4,000. Saints plus 15,000. Guys, it's time to put all of us to put money on it and create that positive energy and momentum to make it
You'd win
to make him real.
$1,500.
You'd win $1,500 on a $10 bet.
$10.
Bro, worth. Absolutely worth, dude.
I agree.
Absolutely
wanna do
worth. Now I would not go to 100, even though you'd win obviously 15,000 at that point. Joe LeBlanc will cash out after the first win or two.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If you did it this last year, you probably could have gotten an okay cash out after the 2-0 start. Remember that 2-0 start? My God.
Remember who was against?
What a long time.
The two teams
ago that
you
was.
actually beat wound up being very bad. So
Who's the first one?
it was
Panthers.
Panthers and Cowboys
Oh,
back to
I
back.
remember it was Cowboys. I knew that. God, those were
How
heady times.
about them
Those were heady times, dude. You know, I mean, we're coming in here black and gold to the Super Bowl. We're spitting the
I
Carfax out.
I don't think Tay-Tay and I ever really were fully bought in on the Saints.
And you're
being-
proud of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're proud of your cynicism
Mhm.
and your negativity?
Yeah.
You're proud of your pessimism?
Yes.
Good, because you caused the collapse then.
Yes, because I actually feel pretty good about Kellen Moore being the next head coach. So if I feel good about it, then
I mean,
What I
true.
don't
We
feel
had to
good
get we
about-
had to get DA out of here.
what I don't
We
feel
had to
good
get DA
about
out of here.
is
That is
Derek
true.
Carr still being the quarterback. That's what I don't feel good about. And
No.
yes, we absolutely had to get Dennis Allen out of here, and he should have been out of here. He should have never been the head coach.
I'll tell you what I'm going to be interested to see. If Kellen Moore ultimately is named head coach, did these odds change just a tad? Because
I don't
look
think
at the
so.
Carolina Panthers, okay? They have Dave Canales, and we were talking about this a couple weeks ago after he benched Bryce Young and brought him back. I just checked to make sure I was right about this. 7 touchdowns, no picks in the last 3 games of the season for Bryce Young. Was he great? No, it was like 15 touchdowns, 9 picks throughout the year. But he ended on a 7-0 run.
No, he did good. He did good
Well,
at the
and
end.
look where Dave Canales was. He was at Seattle. He helped turn around Geno Smith's career. What happens there? He goes to the Bucs. He helps turn around Baker Mayfield's career. Then he takes the job with the Panthers. He turns Bryce Young around. I mean, I know we talk about, Sean Payton and this guy and this guy. I mean, Dave Canales is as good of a quarterback coach as there is in the NFL. If you can bring in a Kellen Moore and a Doug Nussmeier, can you get anything out of some of these young guys?
The only thing that worries me about Kellen Moore is no fault of Kellen Moore's, because he did
His
a
baby face.
he did a fantastic job walking into an uber toxic situation in Philly, keeping everybody happy, navigating, threading the needle, and then finding a way to win the Super Bowl. However, in a really good Super Bowl game plan. However, the Philly roster is probably one of the most well-constructed rosters in NFL history. I mean, on both sides of the ball, but if you just look offensively, a massive offensive line featuring all pros and Lane Johnson, and then like Jordan Mailata on the other side. I mean, just absolute dogs. Best running back in the league in Saquon Barkley. A quarterback in the lead in Jalen Hurts, who is maybe not he's not the most proficient passer, but intangibles, he's top of the league. Tier 1 intangibles, tier 1 running ability, tier 1 size, durability. You got one of the greatest short yardage plays of all time. You got an all-pro receiver in A.J. Brown, and then you got Devontae Smith. So again, Kellen Moore did a really good job of managing all of that and pulling it out from its death spiral and getting good things out of it. But my God, the comparison, it's what we talked about yesterday, the comparison between the two rosters is drastic. It's going to be like living in a first world country and then all of a sudden you move to a third world country, like in NFL terms. So you ask me what can you do with these quarterbacks? I don't know. I don't.
Well, to your point, this is a closer roster than what he had with the Chargers, unfortunately, where it didn't go well. Now, he wasn't running the show there, right? That was Brandon Staley. We just talked about it. Kellen Moore, a lot more experience now than he had with the Chargers. But, I mean, to your point, maybe the worst quarterback he's had, because we talked about it yesterday. He's had success with 3 very different quarterbacks. It was also Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not crazy about Dak Prescott. We know that. He's probably better than Derek Carr. And then he had better weapons there. Even with the Chargers, I mean, he had Herbert, he had Austin Eckler. I mean, he had competent players.
Yeah. He had Herbert, which, is still one of the better quarterbacks in the league, I'd say. But good luck to Kellen Moore trying to make a meal out of these ingredients. This is a bit like an episode of Chopped where they throw like cheese puffs in there.
Chopped.
I used to love Chopped as well.
Yeah, it's great.
Chopped was great. Chopped was really fantastic.
I'm on Beat Bobby Flay now.
I would actually love to shout out our guy Jay Cody. He beat Bobby Flay.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
I would love to go to the filming of one of those shows one day and see how they actually work.
Yeah.
What the timing's like, how that all. I always wonder, how do they keep the food warm before the judges taste it?
They probably got like heating lamps or something.
Yeah, but is that is that not taking away from like
I don't know.
Microwave, dude.
I don't know.
You gotta be microwaving it?
Sometimes that food looks so good though.
No, it looks incredible.
Yeah.
I guess the same thing can be said about restaurants. How do you keep it warm and when you gotta time it all out? I don't know.
Crap's all about presentation anyways. Like you'll see a clip and they're like, it's absolutely delicious, but like why does it look like this on the plate? Like who cares?
Well, no. I mean, I don't not care. I mean, first and foremost, I want the food to be good. And you can do a thing where you ironically make really good food and like you're actively like, I don't give a damn about presentation. That could maybe work. But there's something to be said for plating, for a nice plate, right? Like even when you cook, if you're making let's say you're putting together a little breakfast plate, right? And maybe a little grease is leaking off the sauce with bacon, maybe grab a little paper towel and just wipe up that little bit of grease. So you have your nice kind of, here's your eggs, your bacon, maybe a little toast on the side, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I've been having so much fun on that Blackstone making breakfast. Did it breakfast for dinner for the kids last night. That thing's awesome. Except it's like, I'm used to cooking at a slower pace because I'm using the same pan and I'm like cleaning it over and over. And now I'm just cooking everything at once. I wish it was an octopus and I had 8 arms. It'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
In more ways than one.
I'd
That'd
get
be crazy.
so much stuff done if I had 8 arms.
I don't know what I'd do if I had 8 arms. I guess I'd do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Be really hard to buy shirts.
That is true.
Make some holes in them.
That is true. Nah, you definitely have to
Taking
get
it
a
off
good
would be
tailor.
hard though.
Yeah, I would.
If you have any good like griddle top, flat, Blackstone recipes, of course the YouTube hole goes infinitely deep on this, like the YouTube hole does on anything that you get into.
Yeah.
But like I like still getting information just interpersonally from people. So if you're in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, youtube.com/1045ESPN, hit me.
I think hibachi is the popular thing to do on the Blackstone.
Yeah. I mean, I know that. I know that. But that's what I'm saying. I want other things. Like we'll probably do hibachi later this week. We did the smash burger thing, breakfast yesterday. And breakfast is really going to be one of the stalwarts because I'm a massive fan of making pancakes like from scratch. It's incredibly easy. Yeah. And once you do, the mixes just takes like absolute garbage. But yeah, I always want more. Just more suggestions, guys. Pastelaya on the griddle? That's interesting. Yeah, I will learn to do the onion volcano, Leonardo. You do not have to worry about that. Absolutely. All right. When we get back here on OTB, I think, guys, we may have to talk a little bit of Pelicans before Coach Kim Mulkey shows up. Good luck. Also, I actually got to talk about the situation with the Mavericks because it continues to deteriorate and get more and more insane. Keep it locked here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
Guys, go to PelicanRoof.com, PelicanRoof.com. You go to Pelican Roof today. If you're in Baton Rouge or Lafayette and you need a new roof, well, guess what? We got 0% APR financing for up to 21 months for qualified applicants. And so, look, this is a great way to keep the cost low while ensuring that you don't sacrifice any of the quality that Pelican is bringing to bear, because you can go with the cheapest price, but that's going to get you in the hot water, man. Not the case when you work with Pelican, who's been around for over a decade now, do both commercial and residential roofs. Look, why don't you go to PelicanRoof.com and you can get in touch with them immediately on the website, or you can use their instant quote tool, where it's going to use satellite imagery once you put in your address to give you an estimate of what your roof would cost. You can even customize what type of roof you want to replace your roof with. And as always, go on the Pelican Roof Facebook, check out their community giveaways, as look, we're here for you. PelicanRoof.com.
It's murder on the dance floor. But you better not kill the groove, DJ. Gonna burn this house right down.
Welcome in to the best morning sports-ish show around. Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
And so I'll have to play. If you think you're getting away, I will prove you wrong. I'll take you all the way. Boy, just come along. Hear me when I say, hey.
Oh, it's murder on the dance floor. Okay, guys, I apologize for the Pelicans tease. I was just naming a thing that was in the document. All the commercial break was just people sitting there saying, like, why? It's 2 minutes too long, blah, 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 blah. Again, stick around. We got Coach Mulkey coming up right after this, okay? Relax. Now, as far as Pelicans go. Okay, relax. Okay, relax. We're just going to do this
They're
real
bad.
quick. We're going to do this real quick, guys. The Pelicans have lost 9 in a row. So they lose Thunder last night. They're 12-41. It's the third time this season they've lost 9 in a row. At a time when everything is going wrong with the New Orleans Saints, the same ownership group has also run the New Orleans Pelicans completely into the ground. And here's the final thing. Trey Murphy. How about this, guys? Already third all-time in threes for the New Orleans Pelicans. What a franchise. What a franchise.
Trey is third in trays.
There we go. Thank you.
Who's first?
If I had to guess, you think Paige is still up there?
Paige might be up there. Ryan Anderson
I was
had a
going to say
run.
maybe. God, but was it that long?
I don't know how long he was there though.
I don't know. That's a good question. He just passed up Brandon Ingram. Mitchell Knapp says, it can't be a professional organization, lose 9 games in a row. Well,
Actually, you can.
what a bet. Again, it's the Pelicans' third time this year losing 9 in a row. I say at this point, we got to push that thing to 10. Like, come on now. Let's get better. You're going to do something, be the worst. Alvaro Zwani said CJ is number 1. That's crazy if that's the case, but I could actually, I guess I could see it.
Yep, CJ.
So who's number 2? Is it Peja?
Number 2 is Trey on this list that I'm looking at.
Weird.
And then Jose Alvarado.
No, this must be like
Wait,
a current
I was about
Pelican.
to
gotta
say,
be
let me
current.
see. Hold on.
Anyway, so, okay, I promise you 2 minutes. Here we go. The situation with the Mavericks,
Drew Holiday,
number what?
2.
2.
CJ is number 1. Drew Holiday, 2.
Damn.
Trey, Brandon Ingram.
Leonardo da
Anderson,
Vinci,
6.
no talk about the 1v2 men's basketball matchup in Tuscaloosa Saturday. Is the Iron Bowl 1v2?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and Alabama's now 1, not Auburn.
So I'll say this, dude, and I apologize to people who care, but like I've never been a men's college basketball fan, and so for me get into it takes LSU being good and relevant, and with the current state of the men's program at LSU, that sport might as well not exist in my mind. Like, and I feel bad because I know like a lot of people look forward to it on Saturdays and watching, and it's all Auburn fans have at this point, and so they're latched on like a, like Rose falling out of the Titanic, clinging on for dear life. But I don't care. I don't care at all. So no, you will not be getting any Alabama Auburn basketball talk. If you want that, I know there are plenty of great resources out there that'll give it to you. I do want to talk about how insane the Dallas Mavericks situation is right now. Did you see at the game last night? They had over 1,000 fans protesting before the game. They had multiple fans get kicked out of the game. They kicked out some fans because they had Fire Nico signs. They kicked out one guy who they put on the Jumbotron because he was singing, and then he immediately transitioned to Fire Nico. Which, by the way, what are we doing? You're kicking out the very people that have like, what are you doing? You're the ones that did it, you dumbasses.
Yeah.
Like when you do something dumb and then you get mad at someone for calling you dumb, like you just look dumber. The owner walking back to his seat courtside in the third quarter gets booed by the entire crowd. Like, it is unreal. This trade is absolutely insane. And now Anthony Davis is out for multiple weeks with a non-contact injury. And Taylor, what did Luka Doncic do yesterday?
So if you look at the box score, I mean, it's 14 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. But if you watch that game, like, I'm a nerd. I stayed up and watched that game. It didn't tip off till 9:30 last night, so that was one big complaint. But look, he only played 23 minutes, but the plays he made, I mean, he got a rebound, and he just threw a full-court bullet to LeBron. He was dishing out passes for open threes. I mean, he was excellent. And I get it, 14 points, but he hadn't played in a month and a half, only 20 minutes. I thought he was awesome.
I mean, Nico, bruh, why did you do this to your career, dude? All of your highfalutin talk. Like, I hope we get the story one day that he was forced to by his bosses. Because all of this talk of, like, you know, the easiest thing to do would have been to do nothing.
Him and Rob Pelinka are boys.
I know, yeah. From back in the
also,
day.
like, Luka was running the floor last night. And I know they tried to make up this story, which I think this was an excuse for them doing it about them being worried about Luka's conditioning. Luka looked fast last night.
So good. He looks
looked
great.
He looked fast.
But he looked thicker.
Oh.
Leonardo says, T-Bob, Nico blew up the Steph Curry deal when he worked at Nike because he kept calling him Seth. Steph signed with Under Armour. Nico's a moron. Is that true?
In fairness, he has a
Didn't
brother
Nico
named
also
Seth.
get the Michael Jordan deal, though?
Yeah.
Isn't that how him and Palinka got to be friends in the first place?
So, yeah.
Uh,
The
No,
Mavs
Kobe. It was
organization
Kobe.
right
Oh,
now.
Kobe. Sorry,
It was
Kobe.
Kobe.
Not Michael Kobe. Thank you.
It's like a communist country, you know, like we're just going to do whatever we want. And when you complain about it, we're going to kick you out.
Yeah, exactly.
This is not a democracy. said the
Unbelievable.
Mavs.
Unfreaking believable. As every day passes, it becomes more shocking. Like, it's not getting better with time. It's actively getting worse with time.
It's horrible.
All right, Coach Mulkey coming up next here on OTB.
Off the bench.
Go to Pinnacle Exterior Construction, PECbuilt.com, PECbuilt.com. Pinnacle Exterior Construction can build you the outdoor living space to make your home the home of your dreams. And this could be anything. This could be a pool. We have completely custom pools where whatever you dream up, we can take it to the next level. Or you can choose from the spec pools. You get a great big booklet where there's a ton of different options, and there's options within the options, and it's all more affordable. And you have a pool and you're ready for summer, you know? Maybe an outdoor living area, outdoor kitchen. You need a bigger, better fence, pergolas, bulkheads, all of it. You want to put turf in, you want to put a putting green in. Again, guys, all of it. The Pinnacle Exterior Construction. And I tell you this every day, but it's because I freaking mean it, okay? So listen up. Go to PECbuilt.com and look at the gallery. Because the artisanship is what blew me away when I started meeting with Pinnacle and talking with Pinnacle. It's just a level of beauty that you're not going to get at these other companies. Let's go to PECbuilt.com today and make a happy back on James Cup.
Now he's thinking about me every night. Oh, is it that sweet? I guess so. Say you can't sleep, baby, I know that's that me espresso. Move it up, down, left, right, oh, switch it up.
Back to sports talk. Maybe. Off the bench.
I know that's that me espresso. I can't relate to desperate.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. Every single Tuesday at 8:30. We might be the luckiest show in the nation because we are joined by LSU women's head basketball coach, Coach Kim Mulkey. This time fresh off of an 82-77 Super Bowl Sunday battle in the PMAC, an electric environment. LSU sweeping Tennessee for the first time in school history. Coach, what's going on? How are we doing this Tuesday morning?
We're doing great. We had off yesterday and the day, and I've got to talk to you. I've got to go to my monthly luncheon. I've got to go to TJ Ribs and do the radio tonight. Just
Jeez.
a off day, you know, the life in the world of coaching.
It never ends. But, Coach, that is something, and at this point, you know, I don't, like, love to keep. I don't need to keep bringing up stuff like this because at this point it's just what you've done. But like when you got this job, nobody went to the games. You said we're going to change that, and you change it through winning, but you also change it through relationships. Everything that you just said, getting out there in the public, shaking hands, meeting people, the power brokers, everything else. What did it mean to you that on Super Bowl Sunday, a couple hours before the biggest sporting event in America, to have that incredible crowd that was in the PMAC on Sunday? Like, did you take any moments to reflect on just how far y'all have come?
I have not reflected, but I was very much aware. It was electric in there. I acknowledged it after the game on the radio. And, you know, T-Bob, you're right. Winning puts butts in seats. But if you don't have a relationship, and that's just something I believe in, and a lot of coaches don't believe in it. They don't get out in the community. They don't raise their kids in the community. I raised my kids in the community in Waco, Texas, and this is what we created there. Coming home, I don't have my kids. They're grown now, but my connections to the state, you still get out. You speak everywhere you go. You embrace everybody, and then winning, man, it helps as well. And to think that we had that many people, and a lot of season ticket holders did go to the Super Bowl, and I just encouraged them every chance I got to speak is give your tickets to somebody. Just give them to somebody, and let's have people in those seats.
Well, and the people showed out, and it was raucous. And then once again, the team came through. After the game, Coach, I can't remember if it was KG or Miracle, but one of them was talking about how you're always preaching to them about impact. Like when you get in the game, your goal should to be able to make an impact no matter the amount of time that you're in the game. And I just wanted you to kind of explain that philosophy to us, how you communicate to them what you mean by with that kind of impact philosophy.
Every player in any sport wants to play. And I tell them, when you get that opportunity, impact the game in a way where it makes it hard for me to take you off the floor. And I don't mean scoring the ball. I mean, if you're a defensive stopper, man, take a charge, get a steal, make something happen. If you're a scorer, go out there and contribute. Whatever it is that you're good at, impact the game in some way. And our bench, I don't even like to use the word bench. I can only play 5 at a time.
Yeah.
Those that came in when Flage and Morrow got in foul trouble in the third quarter, man, they won the game for us, really. They extended the lead. They impacted the game. They played extensive minutes because it was hard for me to take them off the court. And that's what you try to get. You try to make them understand. It's not about the 5 that start, man. I got to have 8 and 9. And when you get your opportunity, produce.
Well, and Coach, I want to talk about the bench because Tennessee is known for that style where they play a ton of people. They do like full hockey line shifts. I know foul trouble is a contributing factor, but did you get the feeling at all that maybe your team wanted to show some of their depth, show that, okay, you're known for playing all these people, but guess what? We can keep up too in that regard.
Well, first of all, that is the most unique thing I've watched. I can only think of Westhead. Paul Westhead used to play a style like that back in the day, but not on the women's side have I ever seen. I think it's probably a case of they want to wear you down, and I'm not changing my philosophy. I'm not subbing like they do. I'm going to go with my rotation based on the feel of the game, and I just thought that our bench was so valuable, particularly in a game like that when they are subbing a lot and they bring in fresh legs. But it didn't change how I approached the game. But I just can't emphasize enough, late in the season, this is what you want. It's not something I haven't been preaching to them. I mean, I'm in that locker room, we're in that film room, and I'm telling them, guys, we have to produce when you get in the game, no matter what rotation you're in. If you're my 7th one or if you're my 8th one, we got to produce. And, man, they did. I know we talk about Miracle and we talk about KG, but I can't say enough about Jada Richard. the only freshman we have. We win by 5. She hits 2 big buckets and scores a free throw. And her minutes were valuable. She didn't get the minutes Miracle did or the minutes KG did, but what she did and the minutes she got was so valuable.
Well, and it goes back to that impact that you were talking about. There's plenty of ways to impact the game. What about growth points, Coach? Because, again, this is the second game against Tennessee, and the impact of the press are very different between the two games in that you weren't forced into a lot of turnovers this game, and you kind of credited the fact that in game number 1 you had so much success in creating open looks and layups. What were your biggest growth points that you saw out of your team from Tennessee game 1 to Tennessee game 2?
Well, I don't know Tennessee's scouting report, but I'm going to address that from what I thought was different. When we played them in Knoxville, they pressed, and we really handled the ball well. We only had 14 turnovers for the entire game, but when they were pressing, we would beat the press and get layup after layup after a layup. And, I mean, we went up 18 points, and the amount of points we scored in the paint was off of transition layups because we took care of the ball. I found it to be different this game that Tennessee did not press us like they did. I mean, they were there, but it was different. It was like they did not want to give up those layups they gave up in Knoxville. So it was more of a half-court defense. And so, consequently, we only had 13 turnovers this time around. So taking care of the ball was key, especially when you play teams that try to get a lot of steals.
And Coach, one other kind of theme or trait of this team this year has been their ability to close out close games. You know, every time y'all are in a dogfight, y'all seem to find a way to come out on top. And it's different contributing factors every time. I mean, Sunday, 20 of 22 from the line in a game that ends like that? I mean, absolutely critical. My question to you is, you've done this for so long, and you understand the value of how these things carry over into the future. Is how important or impactful is this ability to win close games when it comes to tournament time?
Well, I will say this. Of all the teams I've coached, this team has really, other than one game, they really have learned how to finish games that are close. They don't get rattled. That doesn't mean that we're not going to lose close games. We've got one coming up Sunday, guys.
Yep.
It matters to play at home. And my goodness, you saw them go to South Carolina, talking about Texas. They get blown out at South Carolina, and then they get another chance at South Carolina at home, and they beat South Carolina. So there's something to playing at home, and it's real, especially when the teams are of equal talent, and it's just going to be a tough one. We're all tied. 3 of us are tied for first place, and that's an honor in itself, but it's temporary. But it just tells you that when this season is over, you've got some SEC teams that are worthy of 1 seeds, and don't just pick one out of the SEC. And we'll see if that happens. But finishing lots of tough games brings that experience that when you're in a tough game, whether you win or lose, you've been there many, many, many times. And it just seems this year it's been just a ton of times.
And what Coach is talking about there, this Sunday, 2 p.m. in Austin, Texas, a top 5 matchup, the 5th-ranked LSU team going against the 3rd-ranked Longhorns. It is going to be an absolute battle. Coach, what does Texas do so well that, what does this give us a quick scouting report on the Longhorns?
Well, first of all, I can't believe I'm going back to Austin, Texas after doing it for 21 years in the Big 12.
True.
Never did I think I'd have to go back to hear the highs, the Texas, anyway. But I will be in the new arena, Moody, and what you're going to see out of Vic Schaefer teams is the same thing we used to see when he was an assistant at Texas A&M for Coach Gary Blair, the same thing he did at Mississippi State. And that is hard-nosed, aggressive, tough, push, shove, whatever it takes defensively. That's how they play now. He used to press a lot, but does not press as much. But anything they do in a half court defensively, it can be ugly, and it just makes you look bad if you don't take care of the ball.
So can't wait for that game on Sunday. Going to be so much fun. Coach, what about this? There's a pretty cool event, and we'll continue to talk about this over the next month or so. But coming up on March 11th, 5 p.m. in the Cox Auditorium, you're going inside the courtroom with CBS News' Jan Crawford. It's a Q&A with you. Tell me a little bit about what to expect at that event and why it's so important to you.
Well, I'm real excited about the event. In fact, you guys are announcing it before anybody else, including myself. I was going and have permission to announce it today at my monthly luncheon, but we need to promote it. We need to let everybody be there. Ann Crawford is a legend in she's with CBS, and she's been doing the legal corresponding for 30-something years. She knows everything about the Supreme Court. She has written a book about the Supreme Court. Jan and I became friends through mutual friends, and she's a divorced mother of 4. And I know, T-Bob, it's hard to believe that I would, number one, be a friend with a journalist, okay?
True.
And number 2, she's a dang Alabama graduate.
Oh,
so she's
God.
a little country girl. I know it from North Alabama, went to Alabama. Common thread, she and I do love Nick Saban, but Jan, in her own right, she is a journalism major. She ran the student newspaper, an editor of all that stuff at Alabama. Then she goes and works for the Chicago Tribune. Then she goes to law school, gets married, moves to D.C. and becomes, a legal correspondent. You see her every day on CBS.
Yeah.
Just turn it on. She's always doing stories, especially when the court is in session. And the thing I love about her most is she's a good Southern girl. She's never forgotten her roots, but she's so dang smart. And her youngest child plays college basketball at George Mason. So we have that common thread. But I want everybody to come just listen to her and just for me to be a part of it. It's kind of like it's going to be a fireside chat. And we need to show up and show out like we do at my ball games. That place, Cox Auditorium, seats 1,000, and let's get in there for about an hour and have fun with old Mulkey and a journalist, if you can believe that.
A 5 p.m. Q&A inside the courtroom Tuesday, March 11th. The Cox Auditorium will continue to discuss it as we get closer. Coach, I could tell that you were tickled with KG's answer in the postgame about how she turns it on against Tennessee. What'd she say, that Tennessee picked up the phone a little bit too late in the transfer portal?
Yes, and I said, well, thank goodness. But I got to tell you, y'all played sports. We've played sports. Little things that matter to us may not matter to a coach or to another player. We all have internal motivation. And I noticed this about KG. When she is, like, on fire and she's really feeling it on the court, she will kind of mouth off to the other team's coach. And I finally asked one of my coaches, I said, what is she saying down there? And they didn't know if she was going to get in trouble if they told me. But what she does is she'll just say, you should have recruited me. You should have recruited me. And so she's got this little chip on her shoulder or whatever you want to call it, that when she's doing good, she wants to, like, say those things to opponents. And I tell her, you can't do that. You got to stop doing that. You're going to get teed up, and you're going to cost us. And furthermore, they're not going to like you. They're not going to. She goes, I don't care. I just have to get it off my chest. I don't care.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about, dude. Coach, look, until it becomes a T. Until it becomes a, I don't know. Coach, you're the absolute best. Good luck this week. Good luck on Sunday. Cannot wait. I cannot wait to watch. Thank you again.
Hey, guys, have a good one.
Coach Kim Mulkey, absolute legend of the game. All right, okay, so I screwed this all up. Can we just go to the end of the hour and we'll make it up, or what do you want to do here? Is that allowed?
Let's just break. It's fine.
You think? Okay. More to be coming next.
Off the bench.
All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge, allstartoyota of BatonRouge.com. I can't help it. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love, and I don't care who knows it. I love Coach Mulkey. And I love All-Star Toyota. Because no matter what your needs are, brand new vehicle, Toyota certified used vehicle, where you still get excellent warranty coverage. Maybe you want to lease. Maybe you don't even think about leasing, but you just have budget options that ends up falling within your budget option. You go to allstartoyotabatonrouge.com. You can search by keyword, make, model, budget, whatever, and they're going to find you an answer. As always, remember the Collision Center, the service shop, open to all makes and models. So very conveniently located at Goodwood. Go over there to All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge, allstartoyotabatonrouge.com.
Back to sports talk. Maybe. Off the bench.
It's big apologies for me. You know, I always like to go along with Coach, so, right? And so it is what it is. We got a long commercial break. I feel badly, but we got a great last hour planned for you. So grab yourself a tea or a coffee, stick around, and we'll see you on the other side.
Off the bench